This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 1827, Engineering Your Default Choices by Rachel Trotta of racheltrotta.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik, reading you some of the most popular health and fitness blogs out there, with permission from the websites, of course, and always with a bit of my commentary at the end. Now don't forget, we have a bunch of shows where we narrate articles for you. Just search for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this to find all of them. And with that, unlike yesterday's long intro, I'm going to keep this intro nice and short, so let's get right to it and continue optimizing your life. Engineering Your Default Choices by Rachel Trotta of racheltrotta.com. Making fewer and better decisions. One of the most powerful things that you can do for your health goals, whether you want to lose weight, put on muscle, change your physique, or reduce your cholesterol, is to develop a set of default choices. What is a default choice? Picture a drop-down menu on a website. Sometimes the drop-down menu is pre-populated with a particular choice, but sometimes it's not. If it's pre-populated and you forget to answer that question, your question will automatically be answered by the default choice. If it's not pre-populated, you must put effort into making a selection. And though this may surprise you, we often make better health decisions when we don't have to think much about it. One famous example of this is when Walt Disney World changed children's meals so that juice was the default choice instead of soda, and fruit was the default choice instead of fries. In other words, if you ordered a children's meal at Disney World after this change, the plate came with juice and fruit instead of soda and fries, unless you specified otherwise. You would have to make an effort to make the less healthful selection, which reduces the likelihood that you would, because we tend to do whatever's easiest. A study remarked on this change. Quote, "The healthy defaults reduced calories by 21.4%, fat by 43.9%, and sodium by 43.4% for kids' meal sides and beverages." End quote. It was far easier to get families to reduce children's sodium intake by 43.4% by simply making the swap automatically, rather than lecturing them about the health concerns of excess sodium intake or creating a healthy choice item on the menu, which would almost never be chosen. Obviously, engineering a default choice to be beneficial for health makes decision-making easier, much easier, and less martyrish than if fries and soda came with the meal and you had to request the swap to fruit and juice. Like Disney, in my work with clients, one of my goals is to help people pre-populate their mental drop-down menus with repetitive habits that pay off, so that their default choice is always a good one, without too much mental effort or feelings of deprivation. Plus, having your default choices pre-engineered simply makes life easier. You don't have to worry about what's your breakfast when you're rushing out the door, for example. In today's blog post, I'm going to give you 5 powerful examples of default choices that save time, money, and effortful decision-making so that your food and exercise habits are easier, more automatic, and more consistently healthful. 1. Automate your coffee order. Liquid calories often trip up my clients. Even when people consistently track their food intake, they may not take coffee beverages into account, but they do add up, especially if ordering a cozy, warm, caffeinated beverage is a way that you relax or recharge. My advice is to decide on your signature drink, the coffee order that rolls easily off your tongue when you reach the barista. Mine? If I'm looking for a snack, I get a 12-ounce skim latte, which is about 100 calories, or an almond milk latte if it's available. If I'm just looking for warmth, I get an herbal tea, and I sweeten all of my drinks with stevia. 2. Automate your breakfast. Breakfast is a challenging meal for many of my clients because it's often when people are most in a rush. They're trying to get their kids ready for school, get themselves ready for work, and maybe even get in a workout. A balanced breakfast isn't at the top of the to-do list, and it's easy for choices to erode into less than healthful habits if the existing default is a bowl of cereal. To automate breakfast, choose a better meal. You can also think of it as a snack that's extremely easy to put together and may even be portable, and make this your default. For me, it's a smoothie. If I haven't planned or prepped a different breakfast, I make myself a smoothie. 3. Automate your vitamins. I have a tip for you. It's easier to automate your behaviors by using after cues instead of before cues. Here's what I mean. It's much easier to take vitamins after breakfast than it is to take vitamins before bed. By making your desired healthy habit follow another normal behavior rather than precede, then the normal behavior becomes a trigger for the healthful habit. Make it your default to take your vitamins either after breakfast or dinner, meals when you're usually at home. Then eating becomes the trigger for taking your vitamins. 4. Automate your default dinner. Something that I do each week to make sure that I have a healthy dinner default is cook 8 servings of quesadilla filling. I chop and saute 1 pound of 98% lean ground turkey, 1 pound of onions, and 1 pound of green bell peppers, and then store it in 2 large glass containers. Then, anytime something else isn't planned for dinner, we make quesadillas with tortillas, cheese, and the prepped filling. And my default habit is to top it with buffalo hot sauce, but that's just me. It's incredibly easy, inexpensive, and filling. Having this default choice makes busy nights a no-brainer. We end up having quesadillas about 4 nights a week, but I literally never tire of them. And 5, automate exercise before work. Finally, something that I strongly recommend is to squeeze exercise in before your day gets started to reduce the mental load that going to the gym can require. To use the example of an after cue again, waking up becomes the trigger for exercise. Over time, I have become increasingly convinced that morning exercise is a solution for many, though not all, reluctant exercisers. For example, a remote coaching client once made the remark that she felt that exercise was taking up too much of her mental bandwidth and time. I knew she wasn't exercising more than 30 to 60 minutes a day, so I dug a little deeper. As it turned out, she was delaying exercise until the middle of the day, which meant that 30 to 60 minutes of exercise was preceded by several hours of hemming and hawing about going to the gym. Bandwidth indeed. Instead of exercise only occupying 3 to 6% of your waking hours, as it should, procrastinating exercise often takes up 25% or more of your mental bandwidth during the day, and sometimes the internal debate takes up all this energy, and the exercise never happens. Sidestep this energetic black hole by automating first thing in the morning exercise. When the alarm goes off, your gym clothes are right there to hop into, and you get to the gym and back before your day has even started. Finding a proper place. As I often discuss with clients, automation isn't about making food and exercise a bigger deal than it really is. It's the opposite. It's about reducing its priority, putting it in its proper place, and enjoying the rest of life fully. By engineering your default choices, you make it easy to make better decisions every time, without the struggle of willpower, procrastination, guilt, or constant mental acrobatics. By starting with a plan, you free yourself of all of that. All you have to do is the default. And even though it may be challenging the first few times you do it, within a short amount of time, weeks at most, it will feel like the most normal and automatic thing in the world. You just listened to the post titled, Engineering Your Default Choices by Rachel Trotta of referrals.com. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. When I was in graduate school, I had to take a class called Health and Human Behavior. We spent an entire term poring over published studies that looked at how we could change individuals' health behaviors. Well, after carefully examining hundreds of research articles, we found one common theme. You ready for this? Human behavior is hard to predict. Wow, earth-shattering. But there was, luckily, one important other takeaway. It seemed that when presented with 2 options, where one option is quick and easy and the other requires more time and effort, we usually choose the quick and easy option. This phenomenon was consistent across most studies, most age groups, across continents. Basically, if you're a human, this concept held true. That's why the suggestions Rachel provided in today's article are so powerful. Make the healthy choice the quick and easy choice, and you'll be more likely to follow through with it consistently. All right, that'll do it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow for our usual Friday Q&A, so definitely stay tuned for that and where your optimal life awaits.